faces, otherwise I won't be able to see everything, everyone on the screen. So give me a sec, and then I'll get my little cheat sheet. Excellent. So you can see it in a large enough size like this?
Yep, looks great.
Okay, great. No worries. All right, so today we'll be talking about how to get more direct bookings leveraging Google Analytics and AI. So as we're running this presentation in what I call a meeting format, it's really nice and interactive. So feel free to stop me if you have any questions. And what I'll do is if I'm answering that question a little bit later in the presentation, I'll let you know. Otherwise, if I feel that it's absolutely relevant, I'll be more than happy to have a discussion right there and then. So my name is Fabienne Wintle, and I am one of the founders here at Tourism Tribe. And my background is all in digital and tech for the tourism industry. So I've been building websites since probably 1990s. I used to own a web agency, but we really specialize in empowering tourism operators with the skills and knowledge to do your marketing yourself. The reason for that is if you start paying people, you need a really big budget. So we want to make sure that you've got all the right skills to do as much as you can yourself. And today I'll be showing you how to basically check, self-check that what you're doing is actually putting bums on seats or bums in bed. And we'll be using Google Analytics to do that. And as Chloe said, obviously the session is being recorded. So what we'll be covering is how to get more direct leads and bookings through your website, leveraging Google Analytics, automation, and artificial intelligence as well. So they're all the things that are available basically in 2023 to small tourism businesses to do a better job, tourism businesses as well as marketing organization, to do a better job smartly and be ahead of the competition. So I'll get I normally do a show of hands, but I'll actually have a discussion with everyone here. I'd like to know where you're at in terms of growing your direct bookings and how this connects to Google Analytics. Is basically Google Analytics is connected to your website and gives you information about what's happening on your website as opposed to things that you would manage through your channel manager, etc. So could I please have a little bit of a chat with you all, and I'll bring your faces back to see where you're at with growing online bookings. Is that something that is really important to you right now, or is it something that you're thinking about but you haven't really taken full control of your website? Let's have a chat. And if you don't want to talk, you're more than welcome just to chat to the chat as well. Don't all be shy.
I'll go. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi Emma.
Yeah, hi. So we had Takata Hotel and we've used your services before, Fabi, and we now have got Junie Hotel. And I've been using Amanda, but I need to get back and connect with her because we've changed over in processes and people and Google and I suppose now we've got online bookings with or for accommodation. And just to find, I can do it on Wix through our website, and I've connected all that, and just to see how many people come online and where they're coming from, like if it's Google or if they're on their
Yeah.
tablet or sitting in their computer, like I just want to try and say, I suppose, use that analytics, and that ChatGPT does help to create content, but what picks up and what works and what doesn't work. So that's me.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's exactly where everyone's at. So what you will learn to see with Google Analytics is where your visitors are coming from. I'm not talking about countries, obviously you can see that, but really what marketing campaigns, not even if you don't pay for these campaigns, whether they're like ads or anything, but time that you spend, let's say, updating your Google business profile or updating your ATDW listing or doing SEO on your website. Which one of these marketing distribution avenues are actually bringing you the most leads and the most bookings? So that's really important. And businesses don't actually realize how simple it is to view that. But once you start looking at that, you can easily decide where you're going to spend more time and where you're going to spend less time. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Emma. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'm going to start picking people. Susie, Elvie, anyone's got Mick? Feel free to go to Chloe. No, you're all happy to be quiet. All right. Well, I think Emma's was a fantastic answer to keep going. All right. So where are we at in terms of the economic situation, and why is that really, really important? Well, pretty much everything, the price of everything is going up, and the consumer basket size has reduced. So people are still spending, but they're spending less and they want more value. So it's really competitive, and we've got to use every single tool possible to our advantage. What else has happened is that ChatGPT has launched version 4. So anyone is anyone using ChatGPT? You can just put your hand up, raise your hand, or look at. Yep, awesome. So ChatGPT 4 is a key difference to ChatGPT 3.5. So if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, you haven't got access to all the features that the new one offers. And pretty much the difference is if you think about your smartphone, it's got apps, right? So you can connect and utilize apps from your operating system, which is your smartphone. That's what's changed. The 3.5 was just like an Apple iPhone with Safari, and the 4 has got a gazillion apps to help you with anything that tap into artificial intelligence. So with the 4, I can send ChatGPT to crawl a website and read a PDF and summarize it to me. An example I've just done this morning. Imagine you have a grant application. You don't want to read all the application thing. You send it to ChatGPT and say, give me a summary of the important points. How amazing is that? So you've got to play really smartly. The other thing that's changed over the last year or so is that Google has added experience to search quality guidelines. So what does that mean if you're not super familiar with search engine optimization? You get rewarded. So you rank higher in the search engine results list if you demonstrate that you're an authority in what you do. And that's why tourism organizations rank really well, because they have links from other websites and they create a lot of content. So they appear as an authority in what they do. They have great reputation. Then they need to have topical expertise with the subject matter. And they also need now to demonstrate first-hand experience with the subject matter. So basically, you need to demonstrate that people have experienced your product on your website. So that's been in response to ChatGPT that artificial intelligence cannot demonstrate live experience. So that's kind of Google's retaliation. What this means for you, and I can see Emma's thinking about how to rank better in search engines. You need to basically get testimonials from people experiencing your product. So you could have a page of someone experiencing your product with a little video of them experiencing your product with some transcription. Pretty much a little review is not enough. Go and build full on demonstrations of people experiencing your product, and you've got to rank higher. GA4 has also been rolled out for all of you. So who's got hands up? Who's set up Google Analytics 4 and who's logged into it? Awesome, awesome. I can see LV twice. What about Susie? Hi, Susie. Hi, Cassie. Have you got Google Analytics 4? No, well, you might have it, but you might have not looked at it. So that's been a big change. Obviously, Google Analytics had to roll out a new system due to all the privacy laws, but it's much better actually tracking interactions that happen on your website. So we'll talk about that shortly. So with Google Analytics, you're not shooting in the dark. And what I was talking about with being able to see actually which campaigns, where you're spending your effort marketing your business are actually resulting in leads and sales, that's just amazing. The other thing is influencers are here to stay. They're the journalists of the new world. So you need to learn how to leverage them, especially on social media. Or at least, whoops, if you're not on TikTok, not promoting your business on TikTok, at least go and have a look at what it is about. It's a bit like, when we were teaching about Facebook all those years ago, people were not on Facebook. The first thing you get to go is actually see how it would work for you as a person before you understand how it would work for you as the business. And the other key element in our tourism industry is lead generation is almost an untouched strategy. So who's actually creating, getting leads from their website, and who's got a proper lead magnet with a nurture sequence, etc.? Just a contact form with a few inquiries? Not Janet, you've got a lead magnet with a nurture sequence. Awesome. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today, and it all connects to Google Analytics. So here's a screenshot of what you see in a Google Analytics report. So heads up, Google Analytics, if you're someone who loves spreadsheet, you're going to love it. If you're someone who's really that yellow brain creative that likes to see pictures and visuals, you might need to learn how to love it. So Google Analytics really shows you this table of data, and we have to try and make sense of what it says. It tells you everything that's happening. It doesn't tell you why, and that's why you need your real intelligence to make sense of it. But in Google Analytics, here what you can see on the left is where the traffic's coming, where people have first finding your website. There's two concepts that Google Analytics brings is the first time someone walked onto your website. So what campaign actually brought them here? And then you can look at when they come back. But what was the initial thing that took them to your website? So we can see on the left, the first row showing people that come from organic Google, the second people coming directly, then Bing, another search engine, Facebook, Queensland.com, etc., etc. But on the right, when we connect our booking system or our lead generation tool, we can actually, how many of these converted into a lead, and then on the right, a booking. So you can really start to see whether your website is your best salesperson. And that doesn't get set up by default by your web developer. You know, they might install the plugin, but it might not show you how to actually make sense of your business goals. And I'll be teaching you that today. So here's an example of what we call a lead magnet. So people come to your website, you'll see looking at your Google Analytics that 95% of the people that come to your website don't book online. So what do you have to do? You actually have to find a way to let them not walk away empty-handed like you would do if you had a really good sales assistant. And you want to give them something so that you can continue that conversation. And that's something, that gold nugget is called a lead magnet. So you need to think about what are all the things that they could be thinking about your business, and what's that gold nugget that you could put there that they'll go, oh yeah, I'll put my email address so I can access that piece of information. And that allows you to then obviously grab their details via email. And if you have nothing else but sending them that document plus maybe following up with another standard email, you could do that. Or you can really go all out and leverage automation and automatically send them into a suite of emails that you have pre-written that kind of nurtures them how you would if you were to meet them in person. So by the time they've finished your 4 emails, for example, they've gone from a cold lead that's landed on your website for the first time to someone that next time they see your Facebook ad, or next time they receive something, or next time they're in your region, they'll go, oh, yep, I'm going to book with them. And that's what lead generation is about. So let's have a look at how we bring all this together to really save you time and money. So I want you to start looking at your website now, not like a little tool that's online there and that, you know, you might know how to edit nowadays, but I want you to look at it from a marketing lens. It's like your number one tool that you fully control. Now, think about how many visitors you'd be getting to your website a day. Does anyone have any idea of how many visitors you could be getting to your website a day? And if you do have an idea, let me know, please.
I've
Or if
only
you're
just
guessing.
started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, building a website. Probably not 100%, but with 12 to 18 a day, give or take. So
12 to 18 people a day?
yeah,
You sure?
yeah, it's not. That's why I need Amanda's help to do the next stage. So
Yeah. So that's because probably you're the best kept secret still. But online, right? It takes a while for your website to be indexed and things like this, but it's not uncommon for businesses to get, 200 visitors to their website a day, businesses of your size. So it's actually more than the number of phone calls and walk-ins you would get, right? If you think about it. So it's really important to pay a lot of attention to the only thing that you fully control in the digital space. And I say the only thing because Facebook could decide to turn off your online presence on, Instagram. And it's happened to a lot of people. Either they got hacked or they're not abided by the guidelines, and poof, it's gone. So it's really important that you understand what's your target market that your website actually reaches and where they're coming from. So all my nice little icons up there, it shows where they're coming from. The end goal, the reason you have a website is to actually sell your business. Otherwise, who would bother, right? You want to sell stuff. I guess unless you're a charity, is a different thing. But you want to sell things or get inquiries, right? So in order to sell something, you can't push it to them right away. Unless, they might come in, they might be in region, want to make a booking right away, that's fine. But you need to really grab their attention, their interest, have a certain amount of desire so that they take action. So that nurture needs to happen throughout your website. So think about from your homepage, where am I taking them? Do I have their interest? Oh, are they filling out a lead magnet, or are they ready to book? Is all the content that I provide them throughout my website, but throughout a specific page as well, meeting this funnel of trust, basically, that takes them from the unknown, just a bit of attention, to an interest, a strong desires, and then they take action. So you're all good to now think about your website that way, as opposed to just a series of pages. And that's where the problem is when you get a web developer that's not in your head to develop the website and understand your customers and business. They might go, for a typical business, they might go homepage, accommodation, contact us, destination. But they don't think about how people navigate from one page to another. Then you look at a Google Analytics, or you could set up some tracking called Hotjar, and it's free. It's basically, it films people navigating your website. You just don't see their heads, right? But it films their mouse, and it gives you a heat map as well as videos of how they navigate your website. And if you put that tracking, so it kind of gives you the visual of what Google Analytics would give you with tables. Once you put that tracking on there, you realize that some are absolutely lost. And that's because that salesperson, your online website salesperson, hasn't been trained to deal with the expectation. So if you just think about this funnel, when you next look at your website, it will really help you better understand how you can nurture them. So let's start with analytics. Analytics give you information at all the stages. So if we start first by looking on the left, and this is not a screenshot, I've just reproduced it to simplify things. If we look on the left, you can see the different sources of traffic coming to your website, which represents the stuff above my arrows up there. So where would you expect for a small business to see the majority of the traffic coming from?
Fabi, are you sharing the screen? Because we
Yeah.
can't see it. Yeah, or maybe I can't see it. Can anyone else see it? Yep, maybe it's me, don't worry.
Okay. Do you want to try and find the screen again? It's a big pie chart. You can all see the pie chart? Good. All right. So if you think about a tour business, this is a regional tour business in Queensland. I've looked at a bit of data and I've made a pie chart. By the way, you can't see the pie chart anymore in Google Analytics. If you're looking for one, it's gone. A lot of the traffic should come from search engine optimization. If you are running ads, obviously a lot of traffic should be coming from your ads. Otherwise, they're not inviting people to click to your website. But if you see that a lot of traffic is coming from a direct source, it means you have a problem, because Google Analytics bundles any type of traffic that it cannot attribute the source to direct traffic. And we like to say that if your traffic is over 40% direct, you've got some tracking issues. For example, if you send an email to someone with a marketing platform with a call to action to your website, and the marketing platform is not connected to Google Analytics, when they click a link to go to your website in an email, you'll see that as direct. It's really wrong, because it should actually tell you that it is email, because that way you know that your email marketing, your MailChimp, your MailerLite, whatever you're doing is working. So if you happen to look at your Google Analytics and look at the data for the last 2-3 weeks, and you see a lot of direct that's over 40%, think about like almost, if you have a temperature like over 38, you've got a problem and there's something not tracking properly. So the data you're seeing is not really giving you a true perception. And then search engines, that covers Google, but it also covers your Google business profile. And you can easily break that down to see the traffic from your Google business profile and from SEO. And analytics will also show you what keywords people are using in Google to find you. So if you are not doing ads and if you're spending a lot of time crafting good content, you expect to have high visits from search engine optimization. What we see is very few tourism businesses have high visits or high referrals from their tourism organization. So that's something that tells us that, you know, the relationship could be massaged. Maybe you need to review the content that you provide. You need to look at your listing on the tourism organization site and also have a look at how many clicks people need to make to get to it. And it's also a discussion we are having with tourism organizations. Some of the sites that we see are quite complex to navigate for users. So that would be why you might have less clicks from there. But have a look at all the partners that you have in region. Anyone's got the link to you on their website. You should do an analysis and see how many of these are actually sending you traffic. Some of them might not send you traffic. They might just send you what is called link juice. And that's a really good thing to appear as an authority, to be referred by other partners, but they might not send you people that follow a link. But it's a really good thing to look at, thinking, oh my goodness, you know, I partnered with Sydney Zoo or whatever it is, and I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time on this. They promised me a lot of traffic and there's nothing. So analytics really helps you understand what's happening, but you know why it's happening. Here's another business that's doing really well in the Northern Territory. You can see they have a lot of SEO traffic, less direct traffic. So I'll be looking at this going, yep, the tracking is working quite well because that direct pie is gone. They have quite a lot of traffic from organic social media as well. But what I can see there is there's no ads. Otherwise, you would see what is called a paid traffic. And this is another one here. SEO is not as big. Other is quite huge. So I grouped everything into other. We can see the Google business profile there is in green. So that's quite a big chunk. Operators when they start, I can tell you already that you're actually going to have a lot of traffic from your Google business profile, more than Facebook and Instagram. So go and massage it and add all these posts if you can, because there's quite a lot of traffic from there. And when you connect your Google Analytics with your booking systems, you then start to see the sales. So where did the person come from that converted into a sale? So you need to talk to your booking system to be able to see that and connect that. So let's think about configuring your website to improve sales. You really need to marry your business and your sales goals to your website goals. So as I said at the start, if you want to sell online, if you have a website you want to sell, but not everyone's ready to buy right away, so you want it to generate inquiries as well. What do you need to do on your website to track sales and inquiries? You need to connect, you need to be able to view how many products you sold. You also might be interested in seeing upsells. You know, how many people saw the upsell offer? If you're a kayaking business, you could upsell them a bottle of champagne, or probably not these days, but maybe, you know, dessert or a fruit juice on arrival or anything, plus a picnic. And then you could look at how many times they were offered that and what the conversion rate was for that. Other businesses also want to resell, so that's another thing you may want to track. And obviously, if you're focusing on generating leads, you want to know how many email subscribers you generated. So when you design your website, Emma, especially if you're getting a new website built, think about this. And every piece of content that you create should be closer to reaching one of these goals. So how does that work in real life? How do you do it? Well, if you want to track marketing campaigns, you know, by default, I told you it showed referrals, but you want to break it down even further. Like I said, you might want to track just your Google business profile. You need to use something that is called UTM tagging. It's basically some code that appears, and you would have all seen this code if you share, you know, a link with someone else, and it's a really long link with a question mark and the little words UTM. That is basically extra code that you can put on links to attribute the source, the campaign, and the medium to Google Analytics. So once you look at the standard reports and you realize, oh, but you know, I've done 3 campaigns on this website, How do I know which campaign it was? How do I further refine? This is when you need to customize things with UTM tagging. And if you scan the QR code there, you'll be able to access our free tool that I've created to help you create these tags. I know it sounds really complicated, but when you come across it, if you've done analytics before, you'll be really happy that there is a tool like that that helps you build the right code. So remember, it's in this presentation. When you want to track new leads in your Google Analytics, you need to set up what is called an event. So an event is an interaction. Google Analytics 4 tracks, has the ability to track leads automatically, but you may need to further refine that lead, because basically every time someone submits a contact form on your website, it counts it as a lead coming from as a lead. But if you have 5 different contact forms, one is a lead, another one is an inquiry form, something else might be an internal contact form, it's going to count them all in the same bucket. So you may again need expert advice to help you customize this. And finally, in order to track these sales, you need to be able to connect it with your booking system. And on the next, no, I haven't got the link to it actually. If you go to Tourism Tribe, yes, if you go to Tourism Tribe /GA4, which is this QR code, I've actually got, we'll ask you what booking system you're using, and then I would send you a link to a page where you can find the information on how to connect your booking system. So if you have Google Analytics set up by your web developer that is not a Google Analytics Pro, not interested in your business goals, you can be sure you'll just have a standard setup. Basically, you'll see who comes to your website, and that's about it. But what you want to do is set it up correctly to track your leads and your sales. And I've got a little cheat sheet here for you that you can scan to get started. There's a gazillion videos online. We actually have a Google Analytics course in Tourism Tribe, but it depends on your knowledge and your tech expertise. You can absolutely do it all yourself, or we could help you in a consulting way, and we're helping a lot of people configure their goals and their leads so they can actually see whether or not their website's working. So you need to know your stats, you need to talk about leads, you need to talk about new users to your site per day, right? Think about in your staff's head, everyone's head, how many new visitors that never come to your website come every day, who they are, where they're coming from, what are their interests. You need to know about your top landing pages. What are the pages that people enter your website from? What's the first page they hit? And what expectations do they have? Where they're coming from for that page? And the aim is for you to match what's on that content based on what send them to it so they continue their journey. Which ones are your most popular blog articles? They are popular. Nurture the person back to at least an inquiry. You need to understand the value that your marketing campaigns have generated. Again, look at where people came from and if they converted into a lead or a sale. As a tourism organization, you could think about the value of the traffic that you send to your operators, and also the number of phone calls you generated to your operators. So how do you feel about this so far? Overwhelming, or does it make business sense? Makes business sense? Now we just got to attach the tech bit, right? And that's the Google Analytics. But once it's set up, and as I said, it's not too complex. Obviously, I've been doing this stuff for years, but it can be overwhelming when you look at Google Analytics. Just focus on that funnel. Why do I bother having a website? What do I need to do to get more sales and more leads? And don't go and spend updating pages that no one sees, right? So if you've got to work on your website, decide smartly based on Google Analytics where you're going to start. You could start looking at the landing pages that people come to, and what's the percentage of people that leave that page without going any further. And if you go, well, there's a page that people exit from a lot, that's like they've walked in a shop through a specific door and there was no sales assistant to help them. So you've got to think about putting that Bunnings greeter, on that page and direct them and make it more of an IKEA experience than a Bunnings experience. Now, if we talk about automation, because in this day and age, like we'll just park Google Analytics for a minute, but there's many tools nowadays that help you do smarter business and free up your time to be able to do things that matter, or configure your Google Analytics, or spend an hour reading reports, etc. And you can use automation throughout your whole business, like, to move stuff from one spreadsheet to another, or you can really use automation to generate leads. So let's have a quick discussion. Who uses automation in their business? Anything that you might think is automation, like a tool like Zapier. Has anyone set that up, or automatically? The oldest way of thinking about automation could be like automatically forwarding an email to someone else. What's your story with automation? And if you haven't got one story with automation, do you feel that you're finding yourself doing the same thing over and over again on a computer, and that there must be a better way?
I use Buffer for automating social media.
Yes, excellent. Well, that's an oldie but goodie that I haven't heard from ages, but yeah, that's excellent. And how did that work for you? Does it free up your time?
It's great because you can plan and do everything in one session instead of going backwards and forwards and posting posts. You can do a whole lot of posts in timetable time.
Yeah, awesome.
And it also
Oh,
lets you know that it's actually posted.
Sweet. It's like having a virtual assistant that you don't need to pay.
Correct.
Yeah. And a lot of people actually think about, oh, I wish I need a virtual assistant to do all this stuff for me. But when you start thinking you need virtual assistant, think the next step. Is it actually one system talking to another system, or does it actually require human intelligence? Because a lot of the time you can bypass the virtual assistant if it is something that needs to happen technologically. Anyone else? Who's really keen on learning? Who's doing the same thing over and over every day on a computer? No one? No? If I was sitting next to you, I'd probably be looking at your computer and go, oh, there is one. There is one. Okay, well, I'll take you on the journey to tell you about where automation would sit in the sales process. So what do you think happens when someone goes on here, on this website, on Visit Agnes 1770, and signs up for this? What would happen? I'm really sitting between you and Ange, aren't I?
Basically, often a bot comes up and asks you questions if you want more information, and it's all been pre-prepped in the background. And if the bot doesn't,
that's more the chat. That's more the chat that you're thinking about. I'm thinking more about the one on the left there with the little form.
Well, it captures that information in the database, and therefore you have a lead to go back to.
Yeah, excellent. And what happens automatically? What do you think?
Oh, a response goes straight to that person.
Yep, with that document attached that they've signed up for.
Yeah.
And then what do you think could happen over the next few days?
The AI can also continue to send emails following up in reference to that picture guide to Agnes Water. Yeah.
Well, it's not actually an AI in this time. This is just good old automation that has been pre-programmed that doesn't require any AI.
Yeah.
And basically, that's right. You've written a series of emails and it just automatically sends it to them. So in terms of the systems that need to talk to one another, it's basically this website. There's a form on the website, and then it sends it to a system that automatically sends email. So in this instance, it's a WordPress website, but it could have been a Wix website. And in this instance, this uses MailChimp. So every time there's someone that fills out this form, it sends it to MailChimp to a specific list with a specific tag to say it's coming from the website lead. And then it sends this person an email. So the automation here is pretty much WordPress to MailChimp. And it can be done. It's like joining a hose together. You know, you might have a hose with a smaller diameter and a bigger one. You need that joiner. That joiner is can be built in WordPress. So there might be just a plugin, or you need an external tool like Zapier, or you might have a tool on your WordPress website or on your Wix website that enables that. And this is pretty much how everything works nowadays online. No system does everything. You just need to know which tool to connect it to make it everything happen. Same thing for when people book. In which booking system? No one uses any yet? All right, so let's take an example of Rezdy, which is quite a popular one. So Rezdy, if you want to get, let's say you want to push your every new booking that, Cloudbeds, thank you, Emma. Any new booking that comes into Rezdy, you might want to push it in another email list called Past Guest, right? So Rezdy doesn't offer email marketing automation. Don't think it does yet. They probably stay in their lane and, you know, integrate with any good system, but they have an integration to Zapier. So basically it'll automatically go to Zapier, and from Zapier you can make it go anywhere that you want. So when you hire a web developer these days, or someone to help you improve your business efficiencies, they'll be really good at understanding how to automate that. And once you've done that automation, pretty much frees up a lot of your time. You could make it go, you can have like 5 or 10 steps in an automation. For example, we have a social superhero calendar here at Tourism Tribe. It's quite a complex Google sheet, but when someone buys one, we have a lot of series of automations that take the Google sheet, copy it, change the industry type to ABC, puts it into our CRM. Then the CRM sends an email to the client, and then the CRM also pushes that link to that Google sheet in our Tourism Tribe Digital Academy profile to the client. If I was to do this every time there was a new sale, it would be a lot of different 20 minutes job that would need to be done by someone, and we would have to charge much more for that tool. I might get Chloe. I saw someone was having a problem with sound. Am I really echoing, or it might just be one person's speakers?
It sounds all right on my end. Elvie's left. She's going to join again and see if it fixes it.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think she joined twice, so that might be what happened. Excellent. So I'll give you an idea of what immediately on your website. If you haven't got a lead magnet, you're going to get many more leads if you develop a golden nugget that looks better than just sign up for our newsletter, right? So here's a few examples that businesses have created. Pemberton Discovery Tours, you know, unlock the secrets of the Southern Forest flowers. That's an example of what the lead magnets looks like. Katherine Outback Experience, they do a show in Katherine in the Northern Territory that is really family friendly. Lots of people visit their website, but you know, they don't sign up automatically for the show. They want to be kept informed. If you just have a sign up for your newsletter, they're going to get very few sign-ups. However, if they have a lead magnet that looks as cool as this one, more people are going to sign up. And then it's like compound interest in a way, right? And sign up for this. Hopefully they stay in your newsletter, and then you're building the list and the list and the list. You engage more with people in your email list. If people open your email and interact with your content, you're going to reach them. You're going to have a better deliverability rate next time, etc. So that's why I said it's like compound interest. But as I said, automation is not just about that lead magnet, it's about business automation. So if you haven't been to Zapier, zapier.com, you can have a look at all the systems that integrate with one another. And I know none of you said before, oh yeah, I can think of things I do twice. But if you look at all these icons there, you'll go, ooh, yeah, I've got an idea. So if you go to Zapier, you'll have a look at how people use it. Zapier is, you know, now their prices have gone up heaps. Like my work credit card got hacked, and I didn't reactivate my account in time because I couldn't pay the bill. and their price has gone through the roof. Like if I was to pay now in a new account for Zapier, I'd pay about $1,000 a month, which is crazy. So if you haven't got Zapier yet, but if you have WordPress or Wix, have a look. There's lots of plugins now. For example, in WordPress, there is Automate WP or Uncanny Automator that do that for free, pretty much, or for $40 a year as opposed to 900. So there's quite a bit of competition for Zapier, but if you Google Zapier, you'll see all the competitors that might be cheaper. It's just about understanding the concept of how digital works these days. You'll never find a tool that does everything, and that is totally fine. Like I see lots of clients that tell us, I want something that does everything. I was comparing this one with that one. I'm like, stop comparing. Does it actually do the thing that you need really well? Yes. Does it have an integration with Zapier or Make.com or all these ones? Yes, then go for it. But if there's a system now, like a booking system that doesn't integrate with Zapier, I would never recommend it, because it tells me that the business is not thinking proactively about connecting, and connectivity is everything that you require on the internet these days. So your actions for automation is to set up a lead magnet with an opt-in, that little form on your website. Create your lead magnet content. Select your best marketing automation platform. Set up your nurture sequence, and then add the tag to track the event in Google Analytics 4. So once you've got your lead magnet, you want to make sure you can see, how many people actually sign up for it and where they've come from. Then you want to look at your conversions, so that those ones in analytics, and watch the bookings grow. And here I've got a little QR code for you to scan as well, if you'd like. Finally, if we think about saving time, AI really is your best friend. And it can help at two different levels. And Emma, you did mention, using AI to create content, using AI to write grants, using AI to summarize stuff for you. We're not going to talk about the ethics of AI here. We're just going to talk to it about a tool that really helps you be faster and smarter in your business. And I use AI for everything. Like if someone writes a review, God forbid that they're not happy with our services, I will go and look at that review, dump it into ChatGPT, tell it to look at our website, our blogs, and try to craft at least a draft of a response. I'd also first dump all my all important pieces of content, the way I respond to emails, into ChatGPT so it understands my voice. So ChatGPT is one of the AI tools. I want you to think about it as a senior business advisor, right? You've just gone to a conference, you met this fantastic experienced business advisor, or you've met me, but I know nothing about your business. So you really need to educate me about what you do business, how you do business, how you respond to people, what's important to you, your ethics, who your customers are, etc. If you don't do that, you're not going to get the best of that senior person that you've hired in your business. So the mistakes people make when they interact with ChatGPT, they take the answer as gospel and they don't go back, now hang on, I don't like this, twist it that way. Like I was working with ChatGPT this morning, and it doesn't always work, right? We're on the paid version. I was filling out a grant application, and I got the information from the quote that we received, and the question from the grant was, tell us how your proposed quote or your proposed project aligns with the objectives of the grant. So I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, I'm going to give you the objective of the grants that I got from the PDF, paste the thing. Here is the quote that we received, paste the thing. Now give me 300 words about how our quote aligns with the grant objectives. It did a great job, except it gave me 400 words. And I'm like, this is a bit long. I'm like, I told you 300 words. Oh, yes. Would you like me to do it to 300 words? Yes. Gives it to me again, 396 words. So clearly it wasn't working, right? I tried. I'm like, no, go back, So obviously I grabbed the 396 words and I culled it myself. But it was much faster than if I was to do it myself. The thing is, I still know how to do it myself. And I think that's the key difference. If you hire younger staff that don't know what they're doing, this could go really wrong. But it's great to use ChatGPT when you know the sort of expectations that you have, and you use it as that senior advisor to get better insights. And obviously, you also use it at the email marketing automation level to write that nurture sequence, the series of emails, much faster than if you're doing your own. Or you might have your own and then you go, how can you improve it? This is the stuff that I tend to give ChatGPT. I'm the Time Poor marketing manager at the Visit Agnes 1770. Yes, this is actually me as well. I need to create an email nurture sequence to turn cold leads, those guys that signed up for the new lead magnet, into warm leads. Let me try and see if I can zoom in. Oh, I can't. We want to showcase our members in these emails. The members are the businesses listed on the website. Can you crawl the website and make some top level recommendations for, say, 4 emails in the email marketing sequence? Ask me any other questions you need. If you hire someone, a marketer or something, they'll charge you marketing prices to do that, right? So make sure that if you define what they're going to do, and if they're going to use AI, you know, ask them to really showcase their hours, because I've seen this could go really wrong. You know, you might pay high prices for people that do that in 5 seconds, whereas you expect people to use this tool and do more in that time. It's like when I would tell people, you know, don't get your website coded from scratch. Get your web developer to use WordPress or Wix, because they don't have to reinvent the wheel, and then they can spend that extra time to do better things for your business. So it gave me some really good examples. And then I gave it additional tips. You know, I want you to personalize the email with their name, include high quality, etc., etc., etc. Another one, I'm planning a trip to the Northern Territory. What's the options to get here from Brisbane, departing 1st of September? Can you give me a few car rental options, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be quite limited, but then if you add a plugin, you know, for Kayak or any of the OTAs, it's able to basically go like a PA, go and look at all the things and spit it back to you. Another one, can you give me a list of all the postcodes for each one of these columns and give it to me in a way that I can add a new column to my Google Sheets? So let's say you're doing reconciliation. For example, I was working with Catherine at Back Experience. They're currently touring the east coast of Australia, by the way. Have a look on their website. It's a really cool show. And I had all the names of the towns that people came to that were signed up in the MailChimp, but I needed the postcodes to be able to group it. So I just copied and pasted the names of the towns, and it spat out the postcodes to me in a way that I can copy and paste into Google Sheets. Otherwise, I'd have to Google each one of them and it would take a long time. So yeah, someone had a question they're asking about the plugins. You kind of have to do your own research about the different plugins for ChatGPT-4, but it's just a matter of, you know, how you do it on your phone to add an app. It's pretty much the same. Other one, can you search the Murray River Paddle Steamer website and summarize the tours they offer that would suit a 9 a.m. arrival and a 3 p.m. departure? Bang, give it to me. Sorry, I just saw the answer to the question. So what do the apps do in AI? It's the same as your iPhone. They give you more functionality. So one app might be able to connect to Facebook, another app might be able to go to booking.com, pretty much anything that you want. An app might be able to read a PDF, etc. Adds extra functionality. If you look at ChatGPT apps, you'll just find a gazillion of answers. And then what I find, if you look at Instagram Reels or TikTok and you start searching for this stuff, suddenly you're going to start seeing great people doing great little reels to say, hey, I found this one that works really well. Another one, I've got and it's really good if you do a lot of stuff with spreadsheets like accountants. Oh my goodness, I wish they were a bit more tech savvy sometimes. But you know, sometimes you might have a lot of phone numbers in a spreadsheet, and let's say you suddenly want to do text message marketing. and you've got them in 55 different formats, just tell them, give me a formula that will clean all this up in a spreadsheet. So I'm kind of the spreadsheet guru, and I know how to do queries, formulas, and all this. And my brain's getting really dumb these days because I don't even think. I just ask it to give me the formula. But it's so much faster. Another one you can do, I don't know if who uses spreadsheets, Excel or Google Sheets? Yeah. And you know how you can highlight the row, like you can do conditional formatting. Let's say if one task is written as complete, you want the whole thing to go green. I constantly forget what the formula is for this. So I just ask it, and it's equal $C1 blah, 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 something. It just gives it to you. Save 10 minutes every time I look for it. Another one, I run a business called 1770 Like Tours. Can you go to our TripAdvisor listing? You'll need to look for it and summarize me the negative reviews, the ones that you find that are 1 or 2 star. I need to present to the board, and I need a board style summary with key points. So do this for your research yourself. Just, you can even try, I haven't put it in here, but it's so funny. It's like, hey, ChatGPT, I've got raw chicken in my fridge, tomato sauce, 2 cucumbers, and a bit of lettuce. What can I cook? What sort of meal can I cook with it? I think Thermomix is going to lose a lot of market share, you know, with their cookie do thing because of ChatGPT. You don't really need it anymore. Test everything, and you'll be surprised. And talk to other businesses about how they use it. So your actions for AI, obviously, I would definitely recommend you get ChatGPT. Be very careful when you sign up for it. Like, the help is horrible. And when you sign up for an account, you actually need to verify with a phone number. And if you want to use one account for your whole team, let's say you want to use the paid account for your whole team. Now, you already signed up for one account with your phone number. You're going to need another phone number to validate, like, the help at or the admin at. Because everyone might have already signed up for it, you might struggle to find a phone number that hasn't been used. So if you do set up an account for the business that you're sharing, make sure that you do that with your phone number before you sign up for a free account. I had to use my kid's phone to validate the ChatGPT. And then try and replicate my examples, learn about the ChatGPT prompts. So when I said to you, you know, it's a senior business advisor, make sure you give them enough background information. That's what the prompt is. So don't say, hey, I want you to write a blurb for my product. You need to say, hey, my target market is ABC. Go and read my TripAdvisor reviews, understand who I am. You might plonk all of that in a Google Doc or in a Word document because it doesn't have a great memory. So then you can go, hey, this is me again, copy, paste. Remember, this is all about us. Now do this. So really teach it about your writing style. Copy the way you respond to people via email, and copy a few responses you've provided in TripAdvisor or Google to clients so it understands your style. And then you'll be on a winner. So this brings me back to what we've covered, the AAA method, automation, analytics, and AI. Remember that funnel. That's the one thing I'd like you to think about when you write content. Think about where the people are coming from and how you take them to the next stage. Leverage automation whenever possible, because we've only got more and more demands when we run a tourism business. So we've got to be smart about when we can have really cool tools that we can automate, and learn about AI. Even if you're not going to use it yourself, understand what's possible, especially if you hire other consultants, so you understand how they may be working and how they can work better for you. I don't know why I have the word Bundaberg in there, but I'll forget about that. And then if we've always have a few questions, and I know Emma's mentioned she's working one of our teams. So I thought I'd mention the Digital Academy. We created the academy to help people in the tourism industry that don't have a digital expert available to them. So we always get a few questions about these training sessions. And if anyone would like to chat to Molly about, how we can help, or it doesn't have to be us, you might want to be put in contact with someone that specializes with Google Ads or Facebook or anything. Feel free to just, scan the code there and have a 15-minute chat with Molly. She can really point you in the right direction. I had a client the other day that, was asking me about, he's been doing his Google Ads all the time, and he's finding there's quite a lot of work involved. And I was talking to a Facebook ads expert and Google ads expert, you know, to try and find the right pricing structure and how much you need to actually have in terms of ad spend to actually get results from Facebook ads. And it's about, if you are to use a Facebook ads professional or a Google ads professional, you probably need to be spending about $4,000 to $5,000 a month on ad and fees to manage the campaign. And it's a bit tricky as a small business to be able to find that amount of money. Like, this client is really like, I don't want to do it myself. I know you teach us how to do it, but can you find me a professional? And as a small business is really hard because we don't have time, but we don't have $5,000 a month to spend on ads and someone managing a campaign. So what we tried to do with Tourism Tribe is, if ads are important to you, you're going to have to do it. And if you don't have the $5,000, you're going to have to do it yourself. So think about what else you can automate and be smarter in your business to free up some time. But yes, you'll see when you start working with consultant, things are really expensive. So if you can think of using AI, automation, and analytics, you'll have a much better outcome. Another person that I know was running ads, another operator, and I did the Google Analytics assessment, and lo and behold, I found out that people coming, so a third of their traffic to their website was coming from Google Ads, but the people were staying 1 second on the website. So obviously it was a waste of money, right? They were coming to the website but leaving right away, but you pay because they clicked on the ad. So by looking at your Google Analytics, you really can see if that strategy is effective. So if it was my other client, you know, that was doing the ad himself and was going to hire someone at $5,000 a month, you need to make sure that you've got your right tracking in Google Analytics to see that these ads are really converting. So as a small business, we often feel really alone, but we find, you know, having a greater community around you, other operators, you can also jump on our Facebook group. It makes it a little bit easier. And that's why we exist. So hopefully we've been able to give you a bit of extra direction. You've been able to scan these QR codes. And obviously if you're watching the recording, you can still scan the QR codes. We've got a bit of time, a few minutes for questions. Does anyone have any burning questions that they'd like answered? You could all unmute yourself and we can have a chat.
There's one in the chat from Susie.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Wants to know, how do we protect our IP when using AI? Where does ChatGPT hold all this information?
I have no idea where it holds the information, but if you want to protect yourself, you could try using a VPN, which is a virtual private network, so it can't really tell who you are. I haven't done extensive research about it. I don't provide ChatGPT with any information about us that is not really in the public domain, like, you know, go and crawl this website or do this. But no, I haven't done massive amount of research about the ethics and where the information is held. That would be another thing that you'd be checking, not just for ChatGPT, but if you use that on any other tools, like, you know, like Canva, now it has that magic builder as well. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one to watch. But yeah, be careful what you put in there. I would say with the businesses that we see, there's way more chance that they're going to be hacked with, you know, bad password management processes than worrying about the IP of ChatGPT, provided you don't put it in there. So yeah, but of course there's a gazillion of blogs about it that you could be looking for, but unfortunately I can't answer that question. It's not my specialty. Can I get a show of hands of you who uses safe password management? Because this is just you know, people being hacked all the time. Yeah, like a tool like LastPass or 1Password. Yeah, who's got a different passwords for every account that they log into? Yeah, if you don't, you absolutely need. That's the first and foremost thing. You need to absolutely have different passwords. A little book of password is totally fine, as long as you don't just come up with an easy password every time. And never save a password in your computer unless it's behind an encryption tool. So passwords in email, password in Excel sheets, it's a big no-no because you'll be hacked. Like, and if you've got anything on your computer that is of value, such as the password, login, credit card detail, that is not behind a piece of software that encrypts it, then you're going to be in big trouble. And I just like to remind everyone in every session about this, because I probably get 2-3 phone calls a week of businesses that got hacked. And the problem for our small businesses, if that happens, we've got to drop everything that we're doing and we've just got to deal with it. And it's a real nightmare. Like, my credit card got hacked the other day. It's a real nightmare because I've got to wait for a new one, living rurally, but then I have all these automatic payments of all these pieces of software that come through. And one of them on Zapier was in my old email account. I missed it, Again, if I had better practices and had updated that old email for my Zapier account, I wouldn't have been in the trouble that I am. So if you have everything with your safe password management, and especially the lists of where you're using what, and makes it so much easier to do business. Fantastic. No one else has got a question? All right, have I given you more work? I hope so. That's probably the point that I'm here. But staying up to date, especially, after COVID, and the digital has just exploded, is just as important as having the information is just as important as executing it, because once you've got the information, you can start thinking about what you could do for your business and ask yourself the right questions. But it never stops.
Great. Thank you so much, Fabi. For everyone else, we will send out this recording too. If you've missed anything, you'll be able to go back and have a look at the slides or access the QR codes. But thank you so much for having us, Fabi.
And Liz also says a big hello. There was a few of you that were with her last week.
Yeah, last week down at the brewery, we had Liz teaching us some marketing skills as well.
Excellent.
Great.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
joining,
much.
everyone.
Have a great day. Bye.
See ya.